Herbivore. Herbivore.
Good morning. How are we doing?
This is a bit loud, is it? Turn him down. How do you like my monkey? Okay, Dan! 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 How are you doing? Michelle Askew, Charlotte obviously messed up and deleted her message. Johnny Mayen, Private Mayen. Angharad, Sergeant Angharad is here. Subscribe to her. She's blinking brilliant. Good morning, everyone, from my man, Fudge and I. Charlotte, didn't mean to do that. We're all very tired, clearly. I'm tired today, which is why I'm late on. We had a bit of a late one. Went to my sister's 40th. Well, technically it was her 41st wedding anniversary. We meant to go to her 40th last year, and obviously COVID struck and put it back. So I had a bit of a late one, but it was nice to see some of my family who I really ever see. E-Fun, Private E-Fun, good morning, everyone. Oh, good morning to you. Bray Grimes, hi from Australia. I love coming on in the mornings because I do catch some of our lovely Australian contingent, so it's good to see you. Dirk Diggler brings up a good point. Freedom. I think you may be drunk. Oh yeah, and Dirk, some of us can actually attract a partner and don't need to do that. You know, we have someone to do it for us, but you know. Wonka Worker, hello to you. Joe Turo, Demi, hey from Demi and Sam. We're from Australia as well. Yes, lovely. How's it going? Where you? All my Australian peeps, whereabouts in Australia are you? How's the vegan scene? How's it all going? I would like to get to Australia one of these days. In fact, I'm determined to. Vegan Mooncat. Subscribe to him. He's great. General Mooncat. Hey, Paul, and all you other wonderful folks. How are you doing, Mark? Hope you're very well. Sophie's in the hizzy. She looks as handsome as all hell in a picture there. Good morning. Just had my first beetroot juice pre-workout. Pretty tasty. Not many people like the taste of a beetroot juice. It's quite earthy, isn't it? I think you can get some better commercial ones, which they put a little bit of apple juice or something just to sweeten it. But so maybe you had one of those beat its, or maybe you made your... We used to make our own, but it used to just stain everything, and I soon got fed up with that. How, oh, so you've not worked out yet, I guess. Yeah, you should notice quite a benefit to your workout, like more energy, more kind of endurance, better pumps. I love it. Wonka Worker just ordered the House Herbivore pillow and t-shirt. Nice, sick design. Thank you. Yeah, that was Andre did those. You know, Andre, who's often in here. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate that. Angharad, Fudge is sniffing the screen today, trying to sniff out any trolls. Good. Dirk Diggler, only joking. I have a wife. I'm afraid I don't believe you, Dirk. Don't believe you. I'm so cheeky. I'm just getting you back. Michelle T, morning from a very rainy Kent. Hope you are well. Yeah, we're good. Is it rainy, is it? I think Norwich, we're meant to actually have good weather today. We're not all that far from you, are we, really? What is that? Oh, no, actually, there's a little way, isn't it? I was actually born in Kent, believe it or not. Pembury. What's the weather doing? 19, 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah, no rain. We're having a bit of a garden party today, and we'd arranged it for a while, and then for the longest time it looked like it was going to be rained off, but in the last sort of few hours it's all come good, and it's looking like we can have a nice time outdoors with our friends. Whereabouts in Kent are you, Michelle? How's the vegan scene in Kent there? The Garden of England, is that right? I think that's what we call it. Wonka Worker, I'm going to hit you with a question early, Hench. Nice. That helps the stream to like get trundling along. So I appreciate that. What do you think about bamboo shoots nutrient-wise? I've got absolutely no idea. So I'm going to take a little look-see. Hopefully our good friend's chronometer might know, if we're lucky. Delete him. So here we go, we're in chronometer. Add food. Bamboo shoots. Canned and drained. Has it got, oh, it's got a lot of nutrients listed. So we'll say 100 grams of bamboo shoots. A little bit naff. A little bit naff. Yeah, hardly anything in terms of nutrition. Yeah. Bit of copper. Tiny bit of zinc. There's certainly a lot better things you could be eating, but, you know, I'll be honest, bamboo shoots, water chestnuts, I do like to grab these and whack them into an Asian style, what we call a steam fry, like stir fry, but we just use a little water. So I had a sneaky suspicion it wasn't going to be too great, but I've never looked before, so I thought I'd better just give it a check. So yeah, not amazing, but certainly a lot healthier than any animal or processed foods you might put in there. Okay. Sophie, you're right, it's 10% apple juice. Oh, so you got the Beat It, have you? I think Corsten Press do one as well. Nice. 31 watching, not too bad. I notice there's not many thumbs ups in the stream. I haven't done one either, so I can't really be angry at you. So what's everyone up to today, this fine weekend? Are you all off work? Have you got some fun stuff planned? Let me know. Michelle. Nice. Hopefully it stays nice for your garden party. I'm near Gravesend. Nice. Wingerson isn't too bad. There's a couple of small independents in town. Maidstone is a bit better. I've been to Maidstone. I remember it well. Is it coastal Maidstone? No. What the hell I'm thinking about? How do I zoom out? Oh, I think Hastings I've been to. Is Hastings in Kent as well? Yeah, I think I went to Hastings. I think I'm getting quite confused. I remember being like a sort of coastal, and there was lots, as a little lad with my family, and there was lots of lovely flower beds. I'm sure it was on the coast. Yeah, Beat It. Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? I used to buy the litre Beat It, and I was actually training 5 days a week in those days, and it actually keeps for 5 days once you've opened it. So I did 200 ml, every weekday before training. About 2 to 3 hours pre-workout is the science. The science actually said that 140 mils seemed about ideal, and there was no further benefits when athletes went above that. But I'm going to imagine that the science was done with endurance athletes, and that they were a lot smaller than me. And so I think, well, if I go near a 200, surely that potentially could be more optimal for me with my extra mass. I'm just inferring. And also, you don't want to waste your beetroot juice. I won't go work. I figured shoots wouldn't give me much, but I had my bowl of ramen in the restaurant. They are delicious, aren't they? Yeah. I will certainly eat them, but also make sure that there's some onion in there, some bok choy, however you want to pronounce it. You know, just, you know, some red, yellow, orange coloured like produce, just so you're getting the range of nutrients. But yeah, I'm certainly not adverse to some bamboo shoots. Bean sprouts as well, water chestnuts, lovely. Scuzz, does starch or fructose digest quicker? If you're talking about like refined stuff, I mean, fructose is going to be super quick. Typically, starches are going to take the longest out. So fructose is a simple sugar. Starches are simple sugars like stuck together, so they like just take longer to break down. But fruit, you know, fructose in fruit attached to fibre, it's going to be relatively slow. I imagine starches will be slower still, but fruit, you know, with the sugar attached to fibre is absolutely fine. Mooncat, the chimp on the screen is a handsome fella. Yeah, and that guy's not too bad either, is he? He's really cute, isn't he? He's really cute. I love him. I want to pat him on the head. Angry vegan. Did you know Donald Watson got ousted from the Vegan Society even though he invented veganism? I don't think he invented veganism, but he certainly coined the phrase and started the society, didn't he? That's probably what you meant. And then the definition was changed like 15 times. Is that right? Ousted from Vegan Society. History, the Vegan Society. Monday vegans dying. Have you got a link to anything about him being ousted? Or yeah, I'd be interested to find out about that myself. I don't think I've heard about that. Either that or I've forgotten it. Unknown error. The family ordered a Ruby last night, and I made my first. Oh, a Ruby Murray. Just for any non-Cockney speakers, that he meant a curry. I made my first plant-based curry. It wasn't bad for my first attempt. Nice. Yeah, I find plant-based curries like super delicious generally. Had a really good bang and butter, which is Indian aubergine curry. Or eggplant for my American friends. So tasty. I don't normally enjoy aubergine or eggplant, but that was super nice. What ingredients did you use? Unknown error. Johnny, what's the best foods? I've got a feeling that I've missed a comment somewhere. Yeah, I have, haven't I? Demi. Sorry, Demi. What nutritional advice would you give someone with high blood pressure? Whole foods, plant-based diet, no oil, particularly coconut oil, palm kernel oil, cocoa butter. Exercise, reduce sodium. Drink hibiscus tea up to like a litre or a quart per day, no more, because it's high in manganese. Eat things like mushrooms, particularly oats, because of the beta glucans. Amla powder supplement, very good. Garlic, very good. But yeah, whole foods, plant-based diet in general. Yeah. Is that all the things? Have I missed anything? Let me know. Johnny, what are the best foods or supplements to aid healthy blood glucose levels? So, yeah, just need a healthy whole foods plant-based diet. It's best not to have fat like too high, because that can interfere with glucose like transportation. I think eat maybe 3 meals a day, so you've got more stable levels, and then higher carb, lower fat, whole plant foods, so legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, a little bit of nuts and seeds. I think most of us would have healthy glucose levels at that point. Big spoon beer in the hizzy. Me and Kat, I really struggle to drink beet juice. It's not my favourite taste or texture. No, me neither. I just love what it does to my body, though. Having said that, I've not had any since I found out about that free sugars thing and Alzheimer's risk. So yeah, I may swear off it in all honesty. Hi, Big Spoon. Oh, I probably said hello already. I'm going all over the place because I don't eat any meat. Vegan Realist, good to see you. Daniel, hi mate from Oz. That's our third Australian today. Good to see you. Love you guys. What are your thoughts on saunas and cold showers? I have a cold shower every day. First thing, it's huge. It ramps up your epinephrine, so it wakes you up. Does it ramp up your cortisol? No, that's getting sun in your eyes early on ramps up your cortisol, which also is important for starting your day off. Saunas, I don't partake. I would do. It's just hard to make the time for everything, isn't it? But yeah, you create those heat shock proteins, and yeah, heat and cold therapy really is great for your health. Really good for your physiology. Where in Oz are you? How's the vegan scene, and how are you doing on the vegan nutrition? So guys, how much spinach would I need to eat pre-workout for blood flow benefits? Probably like a serving would be like decent. I wouldn't eat too much spinach because of the oxalates. So yeah, I'd recommend eating a range. As Jotaro says, rocket's particularly good. I mean, spinach is great, but you just don't want to overdo spinach. But yeah, rocket's particularly good. I think the best is meant to be watercress. But yeah, any dark green leafy, really. And Michelle, Maidstone definitely isn't on the coast. Yeah, I was thinking of... forgot now. Harrogate, did I say? Hastings, I was thinking of, I think I went to both, and I'm kind of getting them confused. I was like about 6 or 7 years old, though, I think. I think I said this before on the stream, but I made my mum laugh. She bought me a Star Wars toy. It was one of those tauntauns, you know, those animals from Empire Strikes Back, where Han cuts his stomach open and puts Luke inside him, and he says, I thought they smelt bad on the outside. Well, his tail was poking through a bit of cardboard in the box. And I said to my mum, oh, look, that's his. And then I mentioned a part of the male anatomy. We were on the bus. I remember we were upstairs on the bus at the front there. And my mum was laughing her head off. And she was like trying to tell me off. But she was laughing so much. And oh, it's hilarious. What a gal. Margate. No, it would have been Margate. Yeah, coastal town beginning with M. Yeah, it would have been Margate. Wonga worker. In that bowl, there was bok choy. Nice. So that's a cruciferous vegetable. So that's a particularly good green to have. Spring onions, corn. I'm wondering, does that perfecto? What does that mean? Rule of darker fruits and vegetables being healthy extend to mushrooms. Yeah, I don't know is the answer, because they are fungi. I'm going to say possibly not, because fungi generally grow in the dark, don't they? So they wouldn't need the antioxidants on the outside to protect from oxidative stress from the sun. So the answer is I don't know. My educated guess is possibly not. But I don't know. Unknown error. What's the most diverse fruit or vegetables for nutrients? What's the most diverse? On average, I think probably vegetables. Oh, Veg Source has got some videos, has he? Okay. Good to know. Thanks, Angry Vegan. Aaron Nicholson, do you have any food hacks you use, such as turmeric and black pepper? Avocado and tomatoes, so you liberate more of the lycopene. There's a few. I was trying to think of this the other day, and not much like came to me for some reason. Food hacks. Oh, there's the old sulforaphane thing with cruciferous vegetables. So chop them 40 minutes before you cook them. Or if you can't do that, add in a raw sulforaphane-rich vegetable on serving. So say you don't have time to chop up your broccoli and then wait 40 minutes. Chop it up, cook it. The cooking destroys the enzyme, so you're not making sulforaphane. But say you added on, I don't know, some diced red cabbage, like raw, on top of your food. So the myrosinase enzyme in that cruciferous vegetable will mix with the glucoraphanin, which is the sulforaphane precursor in the cooked broccoli. And then that chemical flare action will actually take place inside your stomach. And you'll actually produce sulforaphane there. So that's a good one to know. And then onions, garlic, shallots, spring onions or scallions or green onions, whatever you call them. All these so-called allium vegetables, they need to be chopped 10 minutes before you cook them. So the enzyme to make that allium works like 4 times faster with those vegetables. But you do need to give them 10 minutes before you cook them. Well, I'm sure there's loads of good things like that, but nothing's been springing to mind lately. I think I've not thought about it for so long, it may have fallen out of my brain. The gold. Oh, god damn. What do you think of chiropractors? Probably a mixed bag and probably very good for some like back adjustment stuff. I hurt my back lifting and I'm newly vegan. Yeah, try one out. Chiropractor, osteopath. Yeah. And I hope you feel better soon. Samuel, is it okay to use a little bit of oil in cooking? Yes, if you don't want to have optimal health. I would particularly avoid coconut oil, palm kernel oil, because these fats are actually worse than some animal fats, like tallow, for instance, beef fat. It'll give you heart disease worse than beef fat. If you want to optimize your health, I'd say swerve it. There's some negatives, and it's certainly displacing much healthier things, and is so calorically dense, and you're creating, if you're heating it, you're creating more advanced glycation end products, more acrylamides, more oxygen free radicals. It depends like how much your risk reward aversion and like how like optimal you want to be, like how much of the best chance at the longest, happiest, healthiest life you want, and how much you don't mind risking not quite reaching that. But everything's on a scale. Some people say like, is this healthy? And like the point is like healthy compared to what? Like it's a lot healthier than butter, which many people would displace with oil. But it's not as good as a whole food with, fiber and exponentially more nutrition. When we make olive oil, most of the nutrients run down the drain. There's only a few fat-soluble nutrients. So as well as the little bit of potential harm, it's the opportunity cost that you could have eaten something far healthier. And maybe there's a few more antioxidants that you lost that would have protected you from getting a cancer, for example. Like, it could happen. Certainly, it would be healthier not to. If you were going to use an oil like in your diet, it'd be a lot healthier not to heat it, Because when you heat oil, you destroy, as well as creating more of these toxic breakdown products, you destroy any omega-3. Whereas when you heat like whole plant foods, when you cook them, you don't destroy the omega-3. So you need to worry about your omega-3 to 6 balance. Calorically so dense. There's few people, I think, eating oil that are probably in like optimal shape. It's just so much harder to just eat enough volume of food to make you satiated that you don't accidentally put some slop on. Igor, morning. What is your favourite protein source? Whole plant foods. And what's your everyday protein food that you can't do without? I just basically, Igor, I just eat the range of whole plant foods. I don't really particularly worry about any particular protein source. I just make sure on the daily I eat about 3 cans of legumes. So that's probably my biggest protein source. Legumes, I eat the range of different ones. Whole grains are pretty good. Nuts and seeds are pretty good. Fruits are about 5% protein. Even, veggies are pretty good. They can have like a fair bit. I use a couple of scoops of protein powder most days as well, which is beneficial to me because, I have to eat a lot of calories and I want quite a high percentage of protein. So there's the volume thing and then there's the macros thing where I don't want to have to eat more food to get my protein, but then I've eaten too many carbs and fats on top of that. So I find the judicious use of 1 or 2 servings of a more processed protein food to be useful, at least for me. I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't a bodybuilder. Great question. Unknown error. Is coronary heart disease reversible following a plant-based diet? All the greats of vegan nutrition, all the plant-based doctors say yes. The oldies and greaties. There's a couple of young upstarts now who are trying to make a name for themselves, and they reckon not. And I've not looked into what they're saying. Like, A, because they pee me off, and B, because I don't trust their motivation. And the fact is, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to read studies. And just if someone says something with enough certitude, if they know a couple of fancy words perhaps that you don't know, it's very easy to believe it. But I will believe it once it's really been explored. And I do wish the likes of Esselstyn and Ornish and people would speak to this. But I think that they find these certain people as annoying as I do, and they just don't want to engage them. And I can understand that. They just seem like a bunch of bellends. They really peed me off. So it just seems like, I'm not going to name names, but there's one particular guy. He just has to find fault in every single thing from all these great doctors that have helped so many people. And I just think if he put half that much effort into promoting veganism instead of poo-pooing some of these great people who have saved, literally thousands of people over their decades of being heart surgeons and stuff, while they themselves, are not a heart surgeon. Their specialty is something completely unrelated. And, maybe they went to debate camp and that, and again, I think if someone is a great debater, if they learn that skill, even if their position is false, they can probably beat someone. Simply because they've been putting their effort into these sort of arguments, whereas these other people have been actually on the front lines treating people. So what do I know? What do I know? For now, I'm gonna go with the great doctors and the sort of balance of opinion. It seems to be that it can be done. I'm open to that being wrong and, changing my position in the light of new evidence. But I need someone to present that evidence who's not a dick about it, really. And I would just wish they could talk it out. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to hear tit for tat. I don't want to hear name calling and... Nah, it's childish. That's not the way to comport yourself. Not if you're a professional. And again, this just puts me off these people. So, it's a shame. It's, they could be right. this is such a shame they can't be adult and present things in a way that, like, because I really would like to know the truth. But at the very least, the symptoms are reversible, is what I'd say, and it saves people from dying. So it's kind of a bit, it's not irrelevant. It's irrelevant in terms of like life or death, like outcome. But it would be good to know, because it's not good to promote like misinformation, you know. If people find out that you're wrong about one thing, then they'll just throw the rest of your stuff out, you know, because it suits their bias that, oh, he didn't get that right, so, you know, obviously he's wrong. And I'll carry on like eating my animal products. Mark Atkins, are there any plant-based whole foods to avoid for treating IBS? So it depends like what is causing the IBS. IBS is really like a catch-all, meaning that we don't know what's going wrong there. And I think depending on what you've got going on, yeah, some foods may like trigger it, and I think you'd find out what those were. Really, it's not going to treat, it's going to mitigate symptoms. But to treat IBS, really, you need to diagnose what actually is the issue. Apparently, a big percentage of the time is SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So it's not really a matter of the foods treating things. It's more a matter of managing your symptoms with nutrition. And perhaps you can't eat some of the high FODMAP foods, for instance. So you would look up FODMAPs, Monarch University, try taking out like onions and garlic, like they're a certain type of FODMAP, or different ones. See what's more triggering for you. Just do your best to eat things that are not so triggering, but run tests, find out, have you got SIBO? Have you got an overgrowth, like bacterial overgrowth, like an infection? Have you got problems with salicylates, oxalates, histamines? Like, I would recommend looking at Goji Man's channel, watching some of his videos, seeing what resonates, perhaps having a word with him. He does the tests at cost price, or you may be able to get them done through your health service potentially. NHS certainly do test for SIBO now, I know. Yeah, so really diagnose what's the issue and treat the issue. And to heal the issue is not a dietary thing. It will be, you know, it might be like an antimicrobial thing, or, you know, whatever. But yeah, so I'm no expert. I would defer you to my friend Goji Man, who is fantastic. He's a real expert on gut health. He's a real specialist. I hope that helps. Charlotte Lucy in the hizzy. Wonga Worker, you reminded me when you said palm oil it sure is quite the coincidence that things bad for our bodies, bad for the environment, and creatures affected, like meat production and palm oil. Yeah, it really is. It's what a wonderful thing, though, that we can cure so many things just by changing one thing. Scuzz, does eating over the RDA of vitamin A give benefit? If it's actual retinol, like vitamin A, there is like a safe, tolerable upper daily limit. It is quite possible to give yourself vitamin A toxicity. That is not possible with plant food. So you're now going on to talk about sweet potato, and no, you just use what you need basically, and it works a bit differently because this is the plant version. It's a precursor. You don't. What's the phrase? Let me just get chronometer up. I'm trying to explain myself. I can't think of the word. So here's a day's worth of eating. There's a lot of vitamin A rich foods in here. Well, a lot of carotenoid rich foods. So it's pro-vitamin A. So it's not actually true vitamin A. It's the precursor. And so things like kale has a lot of carotenoids. Sweet potato, as you said, has a lot. Yellow peppers, red peppers. So yellow, orange, red, green produce generally has a lot of carotenoids. Tomatoes, spinach. So you'll see here, it does say vitamin A, 71,993 international units, 2,400% of your RDA, which sounds like a hell of a lot. But then, so that sounds like far too much. But you can see it's not in red, it's in green. So that doesn't suggest that it's toxic. Although I do believe if that was all retinol, like that probably ought to be toxic. But anyway, what is important for a vegan is retinol activity equivalent. So basically what we're saying is this is not true vitamin A, this is the carotenoids. And you only use like some of it. It's not like a direct... Can't think of the word that I'm trying to say, but what is it called? You can basically eat so much more, but you get so much less in the end of the process. It's a much better way of saying it. So this actually says 3,600 basically micrograms. Well, for a male, you're after 900. So that's actually only about 4.5 times the minimum RDA. Versus 2,400 like percent of the RDA. So yeah, it's not so. Conversion rate is the word I was groping for but couldn't find. The conversion rate is relatively low, and some morons like Sverige will say, "Oh, the conversion rate's low, so you're not going to have enough vitamin A." Well, you know, when you've got 2,400% of your needs, the conversion rate ought to be low because like. You know, you don't want to be eating that bloody much. So yeah, what a bell end. Angry Vegan. VegSource has a fascinating documentary called You're Not Vegan, which has the information about Don Watson getting ours. Okay, and has links in the bottom of the video. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've never seen that. VegSource. You're Not Vegan. Full documentary. Lovely. Oh, and how its creator was driven out. Driven out? Why do they want to do that for? And why can't I see the... Oh, show more. Scandalous early history of veganism. Do not society is founded and the lessons vegans can draw from this. Good. I'll give that a watch. Thank you. That's great. It's always good to learn something new. Dirk Diggler brings up a good point. Water. Change the screen there. Put my little monkey up. Ethan, are you going to be watching the UFC this weekend, Paul? No, probably not. But I wouldn't be adverse to watching it. But I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. Is it pay-per-view or we don't even have TV? So, I mean, if it's online somewhere, I guess I might give it a look if I happen to be free at the time. It's good fun, isn't it? But yeah, I used to love all that kind of thing. But I have like, I don't know. I'm more interested in the vegan thing really, and you know, just growing this channel and just veganism in general. I'm just much more driven to gravitate towards that. Yeah, saunas are incredible and cold showers are great. Victoria Samuel, morning to you. How are you doing, lovely? Where are you? What are you up to? And how are you doing? Jotaro, RDA is a minimum to prevent disease, not the optimal amount. Indeed. Charlotte, I want you guys to do some videos on quick, easy meal prep for cold dinners you can take to work. Okay. Find myself eating shiz for my work lunches because I don't have time to do much preparing. Pretty please. Okay, we'll see what we can do. Let me make a note of that. I think other people have asked for that kind of thing before. Quick, easy, cold lunches for work. We're bringing out a video. We're bringing out a new cookbook sometime in the future, hopefully in a not too distant future, called Speedy Vegan, and it's going to be whole foods, plant-based meals in a hurry. I like that you called me pretty. I'm definitely going to Do that for you now. Marianne, hi Hench, Marianne from Australia. You are our 4th Australian today. I love you guys. You're my 3rd biggest following, so I really appreciate you. Thanks for joining. Do vegans have to supplement with B12? Is multivitamin enough? So you need either 50 micrograms of B12 per day or 2,500 once a week if you want to take it as a bolus dose. Over age 65 should take 1,000 a day. I don't recommend multivitamins. I don't recommend multis. If you look at the science, if we look at meta-analysis, so we look at all the studies that have been done, the vast majority of studies found no benefit to people taking a multivitamin, multimineral. No benefit either way. 1 or 2 studies will find actually, oh, these people seem to live a little longer or like prevent a bit more disease or whatever. A hell of a lot of studies found actually they did more harm than good. So if anything at all, a multivitamin is more likely to actually hurt you. And the fact is, I mean, it's synthetic like stuff, like artificial nonsense. It's not like real, it's not from real food. And, you know, and we say whole foods is the healthiest, while an isolated nutrient is the furthest removed thing from a whole food, you know, with the fiber, with the other vitamins and minerals, with the polyphenols, you know, with all the things that all kind of support each other. You know, I think as a species, I think we are very intelligent. You know, we have a lot of knowledge, but then I think we don't often have the wisdom to make the best use of that, like, knowledge and intelligence. And oftentimes we end up doing ourselves harm. So really, I recommend that people eat at least a predominantly, preferably an entirely whole foods plant-based diet, adequate calories, some legumes, some whole grains, some fruits and vegetables, some nuts and seeds, herbs and spices. In this way, most nutrients should take care of themselves. When you're first starting out, it's good to get on the Chronometer app. So here it is here. So Chronometer, Chronometer, Chronometer. Plug your foods in, and then it'll tell you, as you can see here, fiber, your carbs, fats, proteins, this, your essential amino acids, all the vitamins, all the minerals. You want most of those at like at least 100%. And yeah, that is completely doable with a healthy diet of these whole plant foods, which I suggested. Yeah, B12, supposedly there's some plants now we found it in, but I don't think we have the science to know that it works in vivo. We know in vitro, like, yeah, the B12s do seem to be bioavailable. They are in there, but we've not actually seen in human studies like that outcome. So yeah, I really prefer to see a supplement, preferably first thing in the morning. I take mine once a week, 2,500 micrograms, tincture under the tongue, away from food. It just absorbs so much better there. It's one of these things, you only need like 2 or 3 micrograms, but it's so unavailable that you have to take in like at least 50 or 1,000, like if you're an older person. So yeah, I like to see a supplement. I don't like to see multis. So B12, if you're getting plenty of sun, great. If you're not getting a lot of sun on your skin, you know, particularly if you live far from the equator, then a vitamin D supplement is recommended for most people. Iodine, you know, it's either some seaweed or an iodine supplement. Omega-3, like 2 to 4 tablespoons of ground flax or chia, and or like a direct DHA supplement, like an algae oil one. Other than that, yeah, all your nutrients can come from the food pretty easily, and you know it's real food. It's like organic nutrients, not synthetic like Franken foods. So yeah, I really would urge people to go the whole foods route as far as possible. You know, if you don't have a huge appetite, if you struggle and there's 1 or 2 things you're falling down on, well, yeah, in that case, maybe like take a little bit of that nutrient, but I wouldn't shotgun like loads of extra stuff. Like, for instance, if you get tons of calcium in one go, it can be the thing that if you're like, if you've got heart disease, could be the thing that triggers a heart attack. Can calcify the organs. We're just not designed to get massive amounts of single nutrients like that. Like, you know, historically they would have been dripping into their bloodstream throughout the day at a slower rate. So I hope that helps. Tauntauns are cute, aren't they? Super chat. Bjorn the Viking. I might have known that would be you. 20 knocks on the super chat. There's that lovely fox. He's loving me today. Thank you, Bjorn. I seem to be miles behind. Am I miles behind? No, not too far. I'll try and catch up quickly in the chat a little bit. I'll go a bit quicker for a minute. Wonka workout. I'm an American, so excuse me for not knowing, but what the hell am I supposed to do with dates? No one here knows what they are. Supposed to be putting them in smoothies. Just eat them as they are. You can make them into loads of lovely desserts, or Virtuous Vegan Desserts Cookbook, just on my on the right of me there as you look at the screen, stage left. We've got loads of recipes that use dates, black bean brownies. Yeah, you can just eat them whole. I love them. I chop them up and use them in like porridge and things like that as well. Nice to see Aslan and Alid as well. Cranky Veggie Head is in the hizzy. Good stuff. Me and Kat, I don't like it when chiropractors pretend to be nutritional experts like moron Eric Berg. They should stick to what they actually know about. Cracking backs. Sonic Gamer's in the house. I couldn't agree more. Sonic Gamer, is drinking avocado oil healthy? I mean, again, it's really compared to what? It's a lot healthier than drinking, I don't know, ghee or something like that, clarified butter. But, you know, it's pure fat. It's going to be a lot of calories. It's not very nutritious relative to whole foods. I would eat avocados. It's certainly not as healthy as what you're displacing. And most people having much oil in their diet, I think, would struggle to maintain a healthy body weight as well. Unknown Error, what's your thoughts on vegan protein shakes? Do without them if you can. Most people don't need it. But if you are a hard training athlete, particularly if you're a larger strengthful physique athlete, I think the judicious use of them can be helpful in achieving your goals. Again, it's not optimal. It's not whole plant food. But it's certainly a lot better than, like, say, a whey protein shake, you know, from dairy. I like to get a really good quality one. So I'm actually affiliated with Vivo Life, who I think do the best ones on the market. Very efficacious. They're sustainability minded. They're ethically minded. They're just really good people. So link below, code HENCH10 for 10% off Vivo Life. And, you know, that purchase helps support the channel as well. So thanks anyone if you decide to buy from them. But yeah, they test for over 500 contaminants, and most protein powders are contaminated with things like heavy metals. Like it's not good. There's very few that are really what I would consider like quite healthful, relatively speaking. Sonic Gamer, vegan Kit Kat coming soon in Australia. It's good to see veganism growing, isn't it? A lot of people obviously don't like Nestle very much as a company, which I can understand. But it's just great to see the word vegan in, like, you now see it in millions of more places on bars. So I think that's a good thing, you know, from that perspective. Scuzz, the best protein intake when bulking is 1.6 times kilo of body weight. Or do you think it would be for fat? I'm not sure if I get the question. What do you think of, what is the best amount of fat for bulking? And I don't think, like, I would say, like, you want a bare minimum to create your steroid hormones and to get your essential fatty acids and fat soluble vitamins. But in terms of muscle building, I don't think, like, you know, you just want the bare minimum at least. And I think whether you're high fat or high carb, it probably doesn't have much bearing on muscle building. However, I will say that carbohydrate feels like a better fuel source to me. I think it gives me better pumps, faster energy, and more efficient. And I think that you'll likely live longer. So I prefer to see lower fat, you know. If someone's on a tiny amount of calories, like at least 15% just to be safe. If someone's on a massive amount of calories and they can eat 10% of their calories from fat, you know, the science sort of suggests that lower fat is probably healthier in terms of longevity. But if you struggle to eat enough calories to grow muscle on, in that case, it would be beneficial to shift more heavily, to rely more heavily on fats, because obviously they're more than twice as calorific as carbs. So just a few things to consider, really. What do you think about people who are anti-locking down protesting around the world? I just wouldn't bother giving it any bandwidth, really. I just feel like whatever, and I just concentrate on what I'm trying to do. And yeah, I don't even know that I've fully taken in the question, but I just feel like I don't care about it, and I just want to focus on creating a better world and doing my best. And I don't know that my opinion would change anything. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, or if you sort of feel me. I feel like I just don't want to waste bandwidth on something that I'm not going to be able to change, or yeah. Kind of like you only have so much time and energy and brain power, and I would rather optimize that towards, promoting veganism, I think is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense, guys? How do you feel about all that stuff I just said? Or am I just being a bellend and I should just give it some thought for a minute? Me and Kat, anecdotal evidence coming up. I reversed many diseases in me, including heart conditions. So from my point of view, reversal is possible. I mean, it's certainly, at the very least, reversal of symptoms, isn't it? Which, maybe like, I don't know, there's something about, the true medical definition of the word reverse. But maybe like for your average person, they didn't even know that. And they're just thinking they want the problem, like the symptoms, like the life expectancy, like benefits, like the symptoms reversed, and that's good enough. Like this is the same outcome, isn't it? So it's sort of irrelevant. And yeah, you've done flipping great, haven't you? I'm so proud of you, and so proud to call you my friend. Sonic Gamer, footstool might help IBS. Do you mean in terms of emptying your bowels? So yeah, if you don't have a good empty of the bowels, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but it is good to have a footstool near the toilet to put your feet on, and you lean into it. So basically you're in the bottom of a squat, which is the natural position for a human to do a proper poop, and it just lines everything up. And so people do have a lessening of symptoms when they can fully empty the bowel. So yeah, that's very true, Sonic Gamer, if that was what you were meaning. Angry Vegan, is corn on the cob healthier raw or cooked? I don't know. I don't know that anyone knows. And what I would say is, let's have a bit of both, just to be sure. One good workout. Piggybacking off of Angry Vegan's question, is corn overrated? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Angry Vegan, is corn on the cob healthier? Oh, right. No, that was, I didn't even realise I'd just said that. That's because I don't eat no meat. Right. Is corn overrated? I don't know. How much do people rate it? I don't even know. I think corn is great, particularly like corn on the cob. A lot of lutein and zeaxanthin, which are two of the few antioxidants that can actually make it inside the iris to protect your eyes. So I think it's very healthy. It's also very tasty. Benjamin Tross? How do I say that? Maybe I've said this before, but you should check out Dr. Bob Macaulay, his channel. Who is a he? What's his deal? Beep, beep, copy, beep, beep. YouTube's paste and go. Bob Macaulay, 25,000 subs. What's he about? Dr. Bob's Naturals, hydrate, alkalize, detoxify, raw food pyramid. Oh, he's like a raw foodist, is he? Here in the mirror, blah blah. Defending spirulina. So my understanding is spirulina should probably not be defended. But anyway, we can all have different opinions. Meat shortages are coming. I have a solution. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really drawn to watch these videos, I don't think. Purified water dangerous to consume. What is his deal? What is his real deal? Oh God, he's been on Joe Rogan. I mean, I suppose Joe has had the odd vegan on from time to time, so maybe... I just sort of think if someone's on Joe Rogan, it's probably one of his mates, and I probably would hate to hear his perspective on anything. Keto diet. Healthy solution to a high-fat keto diet. Nah, he's not my sort of person. He's not my sort of person, I don't think, at all. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd agree with some of the things, I don't know, but I'm just not drawn to watch him for some reason. He seems like maybe he's a bit of a... thinking that keto can be healthy, which I really don't believe. But thanks. Owen Samurai is in the hizzy. Where was I? Oh yeah, just getting back to what you said, Mooncat, earlier, that anecdotal evidence coming up. Do you know, I've heard so many great anecdotes from Whole Foods plant-based eaters, and I heard someone before say the plural of anecdote is data. Just putting that out there. Aslan, how do you engage the long head of the triceps? So the long head, for anyone not in the know, is this part that if it's developed, hangs down. A lot of people don't have anything there, and they just have their sort of these two heads, like you can see at the front and sort of in the middle there, but not the one round the back, not the one that kind of hangs down. The way to do that is to have a stretch on the triceps. So anything kind of overhead and where you're stretching like this. So ropes, dumbbells, like skull crusher type exercises, all that kind of thing. So either like you need to be at a stretch or you need to have your shoulder in extension like this. So kickbacks. I get 2 ropes and do pull downs, but with my shoulder. So basically your hands are going past your center line. Yeah, and that shifts the majority of the stress onto the long head. So very important to get 1 or 2 of those in. So many people, don't they? They do a lot of presses and dips and, you know, just all moves that are not, you know, in these excesses of range. They're kind of in the middle. And yeah, they tend to have smaller long heads. So say I do a triceps day, like my first exercise will be like one of those, just to really emphasize it. Great question. Hey Manas, good to see you. Scars, I've heard a lot of people having skin breakouts taking B12. Is that possible? Yeah, I think I've heard about that. Maybe if like you're doing like a massive dose or something. Marianne, where can I buy your cookbooks? We've got 2 cookbooks, Virtuous Vegan Desserts and Where Do You Get Your Protein? And the links are below, like right below this video. It's not very far down. 1, 2, third link down. takes you to our store. And thank you for axing. Benjamin Trott and the real truth about health. Tell me, like, what is his deal? Because unless he's like a Whole Foods vegan, I feel like it's just stuff that I won't probably agree with. Guys, how many times should I take D3 and B12? D3, I mean, you basically need about 2,000 IUs per day. So if you divide that up over the week, whether you do that once a day, I do it once a day, or whether you do like 2 big doses, like, you know, 1 big dose twice a week, like it's pretty irrelevant really. B12, you either need to do at least 50 micrograms daily, or 2,500 micrograms once a week. Or if you're over age 65, you need to take 1,000 micrograms every day. And there's actually, you can't do like a bolus dose, like a once a week with that, because the intrinsic factor, which is required to absorb the B12, is just so low by that age. Okay. Aaron Nicholson, if you could have a garden with whatever food's growing in it, up to a certain point, what would you grow? As much variety as I could. A lot of greens, a lot of herbs, some different coloured produce, berries. That'd be the main things, really. Maybe like a little bit of fruit trees, like, I don't know, peaches or yeah, that kind of thing, stone fruits. But yeah, a lot of greens. Beans would be handy as well. Yeah. Oh, I would love to have a garden. I would love to grow things, but I just cannot. Well, I just don't prioritise the time currently. Be good to have a garden and a gardener, and they can show you all the things and teach you, and you can see it. But they actually do the majority of the work, so that I can carry on making videos, and then I could. You know, I could actually bring that into the vlog, you know, and talk about that. And I think that would add a good dimension. Aaron Nicholson, popcorn is pretty good. The only trouble with popcorn is because of the high temperatures and the starch, you do create acrylamides, which are a suspected carcinogen, although the data apparently is looking a bit weaker of late. But I eat it on occasion. I wouldn't go too heavy on it too often, though, just on the off chance that it is quite carcinogenic. Jack the Gamer, good to see you. Scuzz, if I work out for around an hour and a half doing resistance training in the 6 to 20 rep range with long rest times and 20 sets overall, about how many calories should that be? I ain't got a bloody clue. Sorry, I really wouldn't know how to work that out. Angry vegan, what's wrong with spirulina? So according to Dr. Greger, the vast majority of the time it tends to be tainted with things like heavy metals. I think there's also a neurotoxin intrinsically in the spirulina. And so he recommends, if you want one of these type of blue-green algae type foods, like chlorella seems to be like pretty safe and doesn't have this toxin in it. VegMed Cardboard, the best around. Simone, that was very avant-garde of you. Trying to drink more water. Nice. Can you recommend the best way to jazz it up? I'm just lemon and ginger. So I like to put some matcha in there. You can make like hibiscus tea, like cold steep that with a bit of fruit in. I like a bit of lime in some water. Yeah, ginger. These are the ways I make a lot of like mint tea as well. Herbal teas are great, and you can have them cold, can't you, if you want to. But yeah, a little bit of fruit, a little bit of veg, like, you know, cucumber goes well, doesn't it? I wouldn't be putting sweeteners in though, because they just tend not to be so healthful. Starman ass. Private Starman ass. Hey Hench, morning, I've got to ask, if you drink coffee in the morning. No, I drink matcha tea, which is lower in caffeine, much higher in nutrition, particularly antioxidants. And it's less sort of anxiety invoking. And it's more of a steady energy. You don't get that crash, and you don't get the jitters that some people get. It's high in this compound called L-theanine, which sort of is a sort of nerve relaxing type effect. Then it actually helps you to get into is it delta brain waves? What are the brain waves where you first start meditating? No, it's alpha, isn't it? We're normally in beta. So it's kind of like alpha, theta. Anyway, whichever it is, it's like you're meditating, basically. So if you are going to do meditation, it helps you to jive with that more easily. So, and I generally do meditate in the morning. So, yeah, I love it. Caushal. Are you worried about advanced glycation end products, aka glycotoxins? Yeah, so they're a gerontotoxin, so they age you and throughout every tissue of the body. So yeah, it's best to try to keep those lower. Like for the best, we should be avoiding high dry heating of protein, high fat foods, meaning fried tofu, nuts, nut butters. Yeah, we ought to really. I mean, plant foods are always going to be a lot less high in AGEs than animal food. So for the fact that if you're vegan, well, you're already head and shoulders above meat eaters in that department. So that's good. But yeah, you're right. High protein, high fat foods, like the ones you mentioned, they already have some degree of AGEs. When you do high heat cooking methods, you basically like 3x the amount. Again, it's going to be less than animal products. So I don't mind having a bit on the course of a day. But yeah, I wouldn't be going mad on it all the time. And if you wanted to optimize your health, yeah, you'd probably swerve it altogether. Yeah, mostly present in the meat, yeah, which is what I was alluding to. Timo, do you watch the Huberman Lab podcast? Terrific stuff. No, but I do listen to it. Yeah, he's brilliant. I really love his work. I've learned a hell of a lot, particularly about sleep. Aaron, I just bought a peach tree today. Wow. Very good. Jotaro, would you ever do one of those tier list videos for vegetables? What, like speaking about what you think is the healthier or whatever? Maybe. I mean, I think really the best thing is to eat the range though. So I think I would put like dark leafies, particularly cruciferous vegetables at the top there. Allium would be right up there. You know, your onion family. But I think, you do need to eat the range of different colours. So I don't really know how much of a hierarchy it would really be other than to say, crucifers, allium, greens. But yeah, that's maybe I could sort of give that a bit more thought and consider that. I think that's a good concept, certainly. Manos, how do you keep your cool in non-vegan gatherings? Typically, I simply don't go to them. I feel so weird being around people that consume animal products. I used to be able to tolerate it in the past. Yeah, as you get more vegan, you may find that you don't want to be around it. Yeah, I typically avoid them, in all honesty. Skaz, how would I work out how many calories I burn in my workout? I've got no clue. You may be able to find some kind of online guesstimate. It'll only be a guess. I mean, we're all different. Depends on like your stats, like how hard you're actually training, how much. I don't know that it's so easy, and I don't know that it's really that necessary. It's not something I've ever worried about. Yet. I can be in whatever shape I want to be in, over time. Thomas Doherty, don't lift weights to burn calories. You burn more calories going for a walk. Weight training to building muscle. I don't know that I'd agree with that completely. You can burn a hell of a lot of calories if you're weight training intensively. Particularly depending on the style. Obviously CrossFit is going to be the extreme end of that. It's certainly not just for building muscle, do you know what I mean? Like there is a caloric expenditure. And of course, the more muscle we carry, the more calories we burn even at rest. So even if someone is trying to do weight loss, it's a very good strategy to build a decent amount of muscle. Charlotte, I have to go off soon. Root is off on a stag do and Mug and Tear is the driver. Oh, bless you. Jack, what are the benefits of meditation? Are they scientifically proven? Yeah, they are. It's good for like your stress hormones. To be honest, I don't really know off the top of my head. I just know that there's a hell of a lot of them. And, it's mental health and also some sort of physical health stuff. Because mental and physical is actually really intertwined. You may like to do. I've not really studied it, but I know that there are a lot of good benefits, and they are meant to be scientifically backed. Huberman Lab, which we've talked about, they may talk about some of that stuff on there, and they do cite studies in the show notes of that podcast. Guys, how much matcha would I need to drink for around 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine? I don't know. I don't really know. All I can tell you is I have 3/4 of a tablespoon, but I don't know how much caffeine that is. Ivelo, is it true that additives in meat have made people taller? I don't believe so. No, I've never heard that, and I don't know why that would be a thing. Caushal, do you eat rice? Asking due to arsenic. Yeah, I prefer to eat other grains, but I'm not adverse to eating it. I don't think it's particularly harm-inducing, but you do lose that protective effect where most whole grains, 3 servings a day, seems to have like a 10% better in terms of lessening your like cancer risk, like all cancers. So I prefer to eat other grains where possible, but I'm not adverse to like a black rice, brown rice, wild rice. Some of the rices actually, I think probably don't have much in the way of arsenic. It depends where they've been grown, kind of thing. Jack, which consequence of animal agriculture do you think will ultimately wipe out humanity? Climate change, zoonotic pandemics, or antibiotic resistance? Yeah, any of the above, really, isn't it? It just depends which one takes off first. At any second, I guess pandemics and antibiotic resistance could happen at any second. We're basically living on borrowed time. Climate change is certainly, the scientific consensus is that we're pretty effed, and people do need to change yesterday. But I think that's probably a bit longer. I think some people say that it may be too late. In some markers of like planetary health, we've already overshot them. But I've been listening to a guy called Dr. Salish Rao lately, and he thinks it's reversible. If we go vegan, and then we'll be using a fraction of the land, we can rewild places, and then there'll be more forests again, and that'll sequester more carbon dioxide. So he thinks that it is certainly reversible. We need to get on with it. But yeah, I mean, the latest pandemic could have had a much higher death rate, like antibiotic resistance. It's starting to happen, isn't it? Like MRSA, I think, is pretty naughty. That's kind of a resistant superbug, is it? And yeah, any minute another one can develop, and then you get a scratch on your knee, you're pretty much dead. So yeah, people really should stop eating animals. Great question. Manos, unfortunately, if I avoid it, I would have zero social life. Don't have a vegan friend at the moment. Yeah, it's just difficult, isn't it? So I guess you just need to try to switch off from it and not focus on it. I think it's harder if the event is around the food, then people are talking about how delicious these dead bodies are, and I think that can really pee you off, can't it? That makes it hard. Yeah, you can only do what you can do, and I guess you just got to try to compartmentalise things and try to shift your focus, and yeah, it's not easy. Starmanas, is caffeine harmful? I notice I'm drinking quite regularly 3 times a week. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, caffeine, really. It depends how sensitive you are. There's pros and cons. It is a neurotoxin. It does kill good bacteria. The oils in coffee specifically kills good bacteria. But then if you look at like suicide risk, up to 8 cups of coffee a day actually has an inverse relationship with the likelihood of suicide. I don't like it. It makes me too jittery and uncomfortable. And it makes social things like harder for me. It can make me just feel a little bit anxious and on edge. Whereas, nowadays I tend to do really well and have a great time. So I just don't welcome that feeling. Don't know that it's terribly harmful. But certainly, if you're drinking something like coffee, you're displacing something healthier, which you could have drunk. If it's affecting your sleep, which it often does, that will have a harmful effect on your body. The less we sleep, the less we live, is a phrase I've heard. Caution, how bad is tea for the gut microbiome? I've heard it's bad, but I don't know if that's true. How bad is it? I've not heard that. There's a lot of polyphenols in tea, which tends to be good for the gut microbiome. Callum, how long is too long to transition to vegan? From whose perspective? From the perspective of farmed animals, 1 second is too long because they're screaming and dying. And from whose perspective? And also from if we're doing it for health, like the longer we keep animal products in, the faster we probably reach our grave. So again, a second is probably too long. I know someone says they'll go completely vegan in January. Doesn't make sense. They already know it's wrong to support cruel industries. Yeah. Aaron Nicholson, do you happen to know your bowel transit time? A stomach that functions properly empty in 4 to 6 hours. Food generally takes 5 hours. Mouth to anus, average whole foods plant-based eater will take 12 to 16 hours. Thomas Doherty, I've got a non-vegan friend. And then, I think typically for plant-based, I think it's only a couple of hours, supposedly. Sort of a couple of hours in the stomach, a couple of hours in the small intestine, and the majority of the time in the colon, feeding the old good gut microbes. That's my understanding of a healthy whole foods diet. That's what I've heard anyway. Thomas, I've got a non-vegan friend coming over today. He wants me to show him how to cook a week's worth of vegan meals because he wants to lose weight. Nice. Definitely going for something from your book. Thank you, brother, and good luck. And what a great person you are for doing that. Let's give Thomas Doherty a round of applause, please, everyone. Let me see them little clap emojis. Isn't that great, like doing something to help animals? Aaron Nicholson, to move through the small intestine, 10 to 59 hours to move through the colon. What? Sometimes I feel like I'm faster, even the bare minimum. If it's really like much more than 16 hours, likely that's people who have got meat in their colon, which doesn't have fibre. JB, the more we analyse caffeine, the less the driver it comes. It's very interesting to view it as a key component driving conspicuous consumption. What this mean? I don't know if I'm being thick. Starman has got to walk the dog. Thanks for the stream. In general, you guys have huge changing with that to a healthy one. Can't wait to check my blood test in a few months. Yeah, let us know how you're going. Have you done befores? It'd be great to hear about your before and afters, and a great thing that you can show people to help promote veganism. So well done you. Scuzz, how many calories over should I go for bulking? I don't know. Some is my best answer, and it's really hard to tell. It's really trial and error. How long have you been training? How fast are your gains going to be based on your length of training? Because if you're new to training, I don't know. It's hard to put a number on things, but maybe you can put on a pound of muscle a month. If you're really new, you've been training for 5 years, you know, you'd be hard pressed to put that on in like 2 months. So the surplus needs to be titrated relative to the length of time. And also, like, it depends, like, how fat do you want to get? If you're not worried about putting fat on, well, you can go even higher. But, of course, you do then have to diet back. So it's kind of a false, not a false economy. What am I trying to say? It's just daft. Like, okay, you're leaving it less up to chance that you're getting an optimal amount of calories. But, you know, you're very likely to go over and then diet down. And then you'll lose some muscle and strength potentially. While you do that. So I like to be just in a small surplus nowadays. For the longest time, I was doing maintenance calories, trying to build some muscle and burn some fat. But yeah, now I'm probably putting in like a couple of 100 calories over maintenance. Scuzz, do blueberries have a lot of nitrates, and does rocket and watercress have more nitrates? I don't know. I don't really know. What rocket and watercress, I think, will have a lot more than most things. Thank you, that vegan teacher. Starman, oh God, you'd be horrified to see my tests. Well, don't show them or don't tell me about them until you've got your afters then. Corshall, when's going to be your next video? I was going to make one today, but I'd forgotten that Gemma invited some people over for a garden party, so probably tomorrow I'll shoot a video. I will do another live stream tonight though, maybe about 6. So. Callum, what is a decent body fat percentage to get down to before starting to bulk? You decide. You decide. It's really what, you know, how do you want to look? How do you want to feel? You know, obviously the leaner we are, the better we look. But the leaner we are, the unhealthier we feel. And we can have low energy, low sex drive, like more open to getting sick. You know, real low body fat percentage is not maintainable. So if you then want to grow, it's a bit pointless, like going too low. So yeah, it's really... what is a decent body fat percentage? A decent body fat percentage is whatever you feel looks and feels the best for you. I think that's the only answer there. JB, CC equals aggressive consumer culture, materialism, gross acquisition of goods. CC. Oh, is that what you said earlier on? Hang on. Conspicuous consumption. You're learning me up. You're learning me up. I've not heard of these things. Callum, about 12 to 15%, I reckon. I think that's probably a very healthy way to look at it. I think that will look good, and I think that will be perfectly maintainable, and you'll feel well. If I had to put a number on that, I would suggest, yeah, you've pretty much hit the nail on it. I would probably say 12 to 15. Yeah. So maybe I should have just said that. Aaron Nicholson, hey Hench, it's 3 a.m. here, got to get to bed. Whereabouts are you? 3 a.m. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. We really appreciate you. You teach me as well. Thank you, JB. I do try. Right. Corshall, I've tried cold showers at waking up, but the next 3 days, whenever I touch water, I would shiver a bit. Any idea? No, absolutely none. I'm sorry. I wish I had a good answer for you. Right, I better go and do some other things. Like I say, I'll come back on tonight, 6 p.m. So do join me then if you want to. Actually, I might come on a little earlier because I think our nights are getting a bit later and it's all gone a bit stupid. And I think it's because I'm pumped up from being on here so late. I might come on at 5:30 till 7, then walk 7 till 8. Yeah, 5:30 tonight, guys, if you want to join me. 5:30 GMT. Thanks, moderators, for keeping us troll free. Thanks for the super chat. Bjorn, I'm looking at you. Thank you, boys, for subscribing. If you want to become part of this wonderful community, we'd love to have you. So hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon. If you want help in optimizing your nutrition, your like health, longevity, sports performance, the way you look, it's all here in my free vegan nutrition guide, how to eat plant-based successfully. So link below, it's completely free, and it's an overview of everything that you need to know. And then if that has you hankering for more and you want to understand the whole picture and just know all of the things, we've got a new nutrition course which we dropped a few days ago, which is going really well. 14 videos, about 80 recipes, or 2 cookbooks are in there, loads of PDFs, nutrition requirements by age, like stage of life, just lists and charts, and it's basically everything I know about nutrition, everything Gemma knows about how to action it into like actual dishes. You know, it takes out all the guesswork. So please link below for that as well if you want to take a look at that. Yeah, and hope to see you tonight or tomorrow morning, whichever you're around for. Thank you for hanging out. I love you guys so much. Have a fantastic day, whatever you're up to. Bye for now.